Hey everybody, welcome to the show. You know where you are, the 9 at 9 with me, Tigo. And today is a special day. As you know, if you saw the advertisement, Peggy McColl is here today. We're going to talk about major transformations. We're going to talk about a lot of things. You know, I love it when she's here. So sit there, get ready, strap in your seatbelt because we're about to take the ride and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Be right back. Hey, everybody. Yeah, you just saw that commercial about the Power of Pink. I'm going to tell you a little secret. Peggy McColl is going to be at the Power of Pink, y'all. She's coming to speak and hang out with us. Our Woman of the Year last year is coming this year, so you want to be in the house for the Power of Pink and the Now Honors. Okay, back to the show. I had to tell you, though. I had to tell you. Hey, Peggy, are you out there?
I'm right here. I'm so excited.
Ooh, I'm so excited you're going to be on stage with us. I cannot stand it. This is going to be amazing. But I promised we were going to talk about major transformations, Peggy McColl style. What are we talking about?
We're talking about making positive changes in your life. And it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you or wrong with your life. You may actually have a good life right now. But I went through major transformation. You know, I was raised in a very poor environment. And I mean, my parents were, they struggled for the majority of their life. And it was a very abusive environment as well. So by the time I got to my teen years, I just wanted to exit. I just didn't want to live anymore. I had no desire to live. Yeah, I was, that's actually how my 19th book came about. I was sitting on a park bench thinking about how am I going to do it? I'm going to end my life. And so that's what I mean by major transformation. Everything in my life has transformed from, you know, and mostly it's about how I feel. And that's ultimately what people are looking to change, is how they feel. It's not that they want to have more money or to have the bigger house or to have the great job. It's how they feel. That's really ultimately what they're looking for in the transformational experience.
How do they do that though? Because, you know, I was a sales manager back in the day, way back when, and I learned that, you know, we were doing Electrolux vacuums. And it wasn't the client's doors to get in. It was getting my salespeople to understand how to get out of their own car doors, because they would talk themselves out of it. They tell themselves they weren't good enough. They tell themselves they weren't going to be successful. I think more negative talk comes from yourself than from outside. So how do they get past that?
Yeah, you know, you hit the nail on the head, because it's really about inner dialogue. And the inner dialogue is very likely occurring because of the previous programming, the way you were programmed as a child. And so in order to change it, you have to change the dialogue. It's like you got to change the input. And that's something that you can do. The reason why I had major change in my life and really started to experience positive results is because I did just that. I changed my inner dialogue. But what I did was I created what I call a power life script. I wrote a description of my amazing life as I choose for it to be. And I wrote it out as if everything that I desired, all my dreams, were already happening. I wrote it out as like, oh my goodness, I'm so happy and so grateful to live this amazing life. And then I described it. But most important is that I had lots of enthusiasm in it so that I could feel it. And then I record it and I listen to it over and over and over again. And that's how you change. You change yourself by changing the programming, changing what you're putting into your mind through repetition. And it took a while. It took a number of years, in fact, but that's how I did it.
I'm an only child, and I had older parents. They've since passed, but I had older parents that were amazing. But for the most part, they were labor workers. So I was at home by myself, pretty much raising myself. And I started doing little tape recordings of myself saying I can do this and it's going to be okay. So I didn't know that's what it was. I just needed somebody else to tell me, because my parents had enough time when they came home to make sure I ate and I was safe. Then they had to go to work again or they were going to sleep. So when somebody tells me that they're stuck in a cesspool, I can't do this because I'm stuck in a cesspool, I keep trying to tell them the cesspool's here. It's not out there.
Yeah.
It's not out there. It's in here. What's your opinion? And do you feel the same way? I just heard you say that's so true.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's so true. I think what is important to understand is it can be challenging to change it. And that's the part that I think a lot of people get frustrated with, that, they hear about it possible to change your life. They make a decision. I'm changing my life. I'm going to get on with the work. And then they don't see the results. And then what happens is they're not seeing the results and they're like, oh, this crap doesn't work. Like it doesn't work. And it's like you're going forward and then you're going backward and you're going forward and you're going backward. It's like you plant the seeds and you pour poison on them. And so they don't realize that they're defeating themselves. There's going to be some time before it occurs. Now, the other important aspect is that because we're programmed to be a certain way, we're habitual beings. We're almost like robotic. We will tend to do the same things, think the same things, feel the same feelings, like habitually. And we got to recognize that. We have to heighten our awareness and break the old patterns. Like just the moment you notice you're saying something like you can't do it. Now, obviously, that's not going to support you or serve you. So you got to bite your tongue and say, okay, what could I believe that would support the outcome that I desire, that I can do it, or better yet, that it's already done. It's already done.
Wow, I love that. Now, you're human. Last time I checked. You have your issues and you go through different things in your life.
Right.
We just talked about you surviving cancer in the last episode. You guys go back and listen and watch. You've hit brick walls and speed bumps, and a lot of people will hit one little baby speed bump,
right?
One little pothole in the road, and then they stop their whole journey. How do you push yourself through those walls, past those speed bumps, and keep going?
That's such a great question. Everyone's going to hit them. Everyone's going to hit them. The story of Madam C.J. Walker? Have you seen? Yeah. Like that is such an inspiring story. There's a movie on Netflix, I believe, called Self-Made. And I think it's a perfect example of a woman that had a desire and she was committed to it, but she was hitting speed bump after speed bump after speed bump, and major ones, like ones with her husband and her best friend and things like that. And everything was pointing to, this is never going to work. You're never going to accomplish what you desire. But you know what she had? She had a passion. She had a passion. She had a goal, and she was like that dog with a bone. I wrote a book on that as well. She was like a dog with a bone, and she was not letting go. And I think that's what, I got a dog bone right here. And I think that's what this says. I am a New York Times bestselling author. And I did this and I got my dog bone when I wrote my book, Your Destiny Switch, because I thought I'm holding on tight to my dream and I'm not going to let anyone take it away from me. And I'm certainly not going to drop it either. And that's what you have to do. You have to hold on tight to your dream. Recognize that you're going to go over those obstacles, or you're going to go under, around, through, whatever you have to do. Like, there's no such thing as an overnight success. It's going to absolutely take commitment. But if it is your desire, if it's something that's within you, like a burning desire, you'll get there. Just hold tight to the end, stay focused on it, and get through whatever you need to get through.
I know that Alan's going to slap that 2-minute warning up there. I swear his clock is faster than anybody else's clock. He's going to do that. But before we get there, I wanted to ask you really quickly. You just talked about desire and passion. Yeah. And there's so many people out there, they're hearing, if you want to be an expert, if you want to be out there on stages, you need to be an author. It doesn't matter it's 2022 and people are mainly playing video games. You still need to be writing a book. And they're terrified of doing it. They don't know how to do it. They don't know what to do. And I believe you have like a training program or some way to help them, correct?
Totally. I have done 20 books so far, and I'm sure there's going to be more. But what I've noticed with a lot of authors is that they leave money on the table. And it's not only about the money, it's about serving people. They leave opportunity on the table. There's so many more ways that authors can serve people in greater and grander ways, especially now. We got like over 5 billion people online today. And doesn't matter where you are. I mean, you and I became friends online, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you are or which country you're in, what your background is. And, you know, you mentioned about authors not believing in themselves or believing that they could write a book. You don't even have to be a great writer to write a book. So yes, I created a program called MSI Author, and you can find it at msiauthor.com. And it's really about how to create multiple revenue streams, multiple sources of income from one idea. But of course, I'll talk about how to do many ideas, multiple ideas. And it's really how I've generated and other people have generated multiple millions of dollars doing work that they're passionate about.
That's amazing. Okay, give him that website one more time because he's going to cut us off.
Okay.
One more time.
MSIauthor.com. MSIauthor.com. You know, and it's also, it's more not only about what you're passionate about, it really is about contribution. Like, I think that's why we're here. That's why I'm here on the planet, is to leave the world in a better place, to make a positive and beneficial contribution to the lives of millions of others. And so you can do that. Anyone can do it. And you can do it from the comfort of your home.
You know, I call you Miss Peggy. Even when I write you an email, I send it to Miss Peggy because I have 1000% respect for you. I just love any time, any little nugget we can spend. And I learn something new every time we talk. I'm so happy you're a VIP expert. I cannot stand it. It is awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today.
It's so great to be with you. Always great. I love your spirit. I love how you serve as well. Classy all the way.
Thank you very much. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this episode. You know, I want you to come back next time. And if you missed that email or that website address, you know what to do. Go to TegoDirect.com. Type in Peggy McColl. It costs you nothing. It costs her nothing. It's just our way to make sure you guys can find everybody who's been on the show. Type in Peggy McColl. You'll find her web addresses there. You'll find a way to connect with her there. You can even send her a private email. It'll go into her inbox. And I know Miss Peggy will get back to you. All right, go to Tego Direct. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't miss next month because she's coming back. And as always, I'm Tego. I'll talk to you next time.